An emperor once ordered an entire year to be deleted from history. Not the records of that year. Not the rulers. Not the wars. The entire year gone. Scraped from stone, erased from papyrus, cut from the official count of time itself. And for over 1,000 years, it worked. Loop 1, the gap in time. Historians noticed it first as a number that didn't add up. A dynasty's reign that ran too long on paper. A construction date that couldn't possibly be correct. An inscription on stone that referenced a year that, according to every official record, never existed. They assumed it was an error. A scribe's mistake. Sloppy record keeping from a chaotic era. But the gap kept appearing. In different locations. On different materials. Carved by different hands, in different decades. Always pointing to the same missing window of time. This wasn't a mistake. Something happened during that year, and someone with extraordinary power decided no one would ever know what. The question is, what could be so catastrophic, so dangerous, so fundamentally threatening to an empire that the only solution was to erase time itself? Because here's the thing, deleting a year isn't simple. It's not like burning a book. It requires a coordinated, empire-wide campaign. Every temple, every administrative record, every monument, every calendar. All of it, updated. All of it, corrected. And everyone involved sworn to silence. That takes resources. That takes authority. That takes someone who was absolutely terrified of what that year contained. But the strangest part? We almost missed it entirely. Loop 2, the scholar who found the hole. In the late 19th century, a German Egyptologist named Eduard Meyer was doing something most historians considered boring, cross-referencing ancient Egyptian king lists against astronomical data. Ancient Egyptians were obsessive record keepers. They tracked the heliacal rising of the star Sirius to anchor their calendar. It was precise. It was reliable. It was, for thousands of years, unshakable. And then Meyer found a reign that simply didn't fit. The astronomical data said one thing. The official king list said another. There was a gap of roughly 1 full year, maybe slightly more, that existed in the stars but not in the records. He published a paper. Most of his colleagues shrugged. Ancient records were imperfect. Mistakes happened. Meyer wasn't satisfied. He went back to the primary sources. And what he found in those sources made the hairs on his neck stand up. The year wasn't missing because of poor record keeping. It was missing because someone had taken every subsequent year and renumbered them. As if to say, this year happened first. And the year before it, that year never existed. It was a deliberate, sophisticated, coordinated act of historical deletion. And it pointed directly to one of the most powerful rulers in Egyptian history. Loop 3, the emperor behind the erasure. The name that kept surfacing was Hatshepsut. Or rather, the name that surfaced and then was itself later erased was Hatshepsut. She ruled Egypt not as queen, but as pharaoh. She wore the double crown. She donned the ceremonial beard. For over 20 years, she commanded one of the ancient world's greatest civilizations. And then her stepson, Thutmose III, came to power. What happened next is one of archaeology's most chilling case studies in the abuse of historical power. Thutmose ordered her erased. Her statues smashed. Her name chiseled off temple walls. Her image replaced with his own, or with blank stone. Her monuments attributed to other rulers. But here's where it gets strange. The erasure wasn't immediate. Scholars used to believe Thutmose acted out of rage the moment he took power. New evidence suggests he waited. Decades passed before the campaign began. So why then? Why not immediately? What changed? And this is where the erased year becomes something far darker. Loop 4, what the year contained. Here's what we know.
And pay close attention, because this is where the real mystery begins. In the year that was systematically removed from the record, there is evidence, fragmentary, scattered, but persistent, of a power struggle unlike anything Egypt had seen in generations. Inscriptions from temples in the south reference a time of 2 crowns. Administrative papyri discovered in the late 20th century show overlapping royal decrees, 2 sets, issued by 2 authorities, covering the same administrative territory. 2 pharaohs. Simultaneously. One of them was supposed to not exist. The theory that's gained the most traction among Egyptologists is this: when Hatshepsut died, or when her power finally waned, there was a transition period, possibly a year, during which both Thutmose III and the still influential court of Hatshepsut held competing authority. A year of instability. Of fractured power. Of an empire briefly, dangerously, out of control. That year was a wound. A scar on the story of Egypt's greatness. And Thutmose III did what powerful rulers across history have always done when faced with evidence of their own vulnerability. He deleted it. But the strangest discovery was still to come. Loop 5, the thing that couldn't be erased. When archaeologists excavated Deir el-Bahari in the 1920s, the site of Hatshepsut's magnificent mortuary temple, they expected to find her legacy in ruin. And much of it was. But deep within the temple's foundation pits, deliberately buried, they found something extraordinary. Hundreds of fragments. Smashed statues. Chiseled cartouches. But they were buried, not destroyed. Placed carefully into pits, covered, hidden. Someone had preserved the evidence of what was supposed to be erased. Scholars debate who. Some believe it was loyal priests, acting covertly to protect their queen's legacy. Others believe it was Thutmose himself, unable to fully destroy what she had built, unwilling to let it be found, choosing instead to entomb her memory underground. And that detail is the one that keeps me awake. Because if it was Thutmose, that means he knew he was lying. He knew history was being falsified. And he buried her not out of hatred, but out of something far more complicated. Guilt. Fear. Respect. Or perhaps acknowledgement that even he could not fully erase what she had done. He deleted the year. But he could not delete the woman. Loop 6, the pattern across empires. Here's what makes this story bigger than Egypt. This is not an isolated act. The Roman Emperor Domitian was subjected to damnatio memoriae, condemnation of memory, after his assassination. His name was chiseled from public inscriptions. His statues melted down. Official records adjusted. The Chinese Emperor Qin Shi Huang, the man who unified China, ordered the burning of books and the burial of scholars to prevent alternative histories from surviving. Stalin famously had political enemies removed from official photographs. History adjusted in real time. The pattern is always the same. Power. Threat. Erasure. But what makes the Egyptian case uniquely chilling is the specificity. It wasn't a person who was erased. It wasn't even just a pharaoh. It was a year. A unit of time. An abstract container that held something so dangerous that the container itself had to be destroyed. What you do with a person's memory makes sense. You fear the legend. But what do you fear in a year? Loop 7, the final question. Modern scholars, working with satellite imaging, neutron tomography, and spectral analysis of ancient inks, have slowly been reconstructing what that erased year contained. The picture isn't complete. It may never be. But what's emerging suggests the deleted year held evidence of a succession crisis, a period of dual authority, and possibly, most provocatively, a set of decrees issued by Hatshepsut that, had they survived, would have legally complicated Thutmose III's claim to absolute power for the rest of his reign. He didn't erase the year because he hated her. He erased the year because it proved he wasn't supposed to be there. And here is the thought I want to leave you with. If one of the most documented civilizations in human history could successfully delete an entire year and nearly get away with it forever, what years are missing from the histories we trust today? What has already been erased so completely that we don't even know to look for the gap? The stars remember. They always do. But we have to know how to read them. Asterisk, if this story unsettled you in the best possible way, subscribe to Nocturne Files. New mysteries every week. The ones history tried to bury. Asterisk.